Hi, everybody. It is Friday afternoon. Looking forward to Erev Shabbat and Shabbat very soon. Of course, tomorrow evening begins Passover. Many of you, I'm sure, are going to have some kind of Seder. Our family home Seder, where we're going to be hosting a number of our Messianic Jewish friends and others. We're actually going to be holding Sunday night. That's just when everyone was able to come. And of course, many of you are doubtlessly going to be having congregational Seder events throughout the next week. So this is a time, I know for me, we've been building toward, especially with the unplanned transition from now 2.5 weeks ago. For the most part, our internal ministry audit has concluded, although there are going to be things which come up over the next few weeks, I'm sure, but not in the concentrated way of the past 2 weeks. Yesterday was the first, I would say, real, if we can use that term loosely, work day I had. Today has been somewhat similar. And of course, I'm looking forward to next week being the first full, relatively normal work week without having this audit over me. And with that, a lot more theological thoughts, a lot more spiritual thoughts are coming into focus, not just the clerical things I've been working through. One of the main reasons why our family has our own ministry, Outreach Israel, Messianic Apologetics. Yes, it does lock us to the Messianic movement. We're not just normal civilians, non-Jewish people who come from an evangelical background. They stay in the Messianic Jewish world for a few years, they get enriched, and then they move on for whatever reasons. A lot of people, they actually move to a place where there is no Messianic congregation, and so that gets them to return to church. With other people, it's an issue or two which may not necessarily involve things like the place of Shabbat or the appointed times like Passover. It may involve an aspect of the Messianic Jewish lifestyle, culture, Jewish culture, a Jewish worldview or value system, which is incompatible with someone's Protestant value system. But our family got locked into the Messianic movement, yet with our own ministry, as opposed to just serving in a local congregation or synagogue, we do have a venue to discuss a wider array of topics. There are issues, and this is nothing you haven't heard before. There are issues which matter to me, which don't always matter to a lot of the people out there in the Messianic community. There are issues which matter to me, which involve modernity and post-modernity, the modern world. Do they affect the Messianic mission? Do they affect things like Jewish outreach? Do they affect how we interact with people in the world? Absolutely. Those are things which today's Messianic community can struggle with at times. Our focus can at times be so on Israel, the Jewish community, we forget the wider world we're a part of. For example, one of the things I have advocated for many years is we need to be able to have parity with the synagogue and church. Any issue, any topic which is discussed in one's local conservative Reformed synagogue, one's local evangelical Protestant church, today's Messianic community should be able to discuss. Any issue which could have been discussed at my late father's Sunday school class from 1987 to 1992 should at this point in 2025 be able to be discussed in the Messianic movement. Something I feel very strongly about is us as Messianic people being able to have an open discussion on early Genesis views. I don't believe in evolution, but there are a lot of people I know who think that if you believe in evolution, you cannot be born again. You cannot be saved. That's wrong. We should be able to rightly classify that as a biblical reliability issue, not a salvation issue. I also believe that we need to have a greater maturity when it comes to some of the issues many are struggling with as it involves men and women and gender roles and women in ministry. And the Messianic community over the past 3 decades has not always demonstrated that. Although there are some signs in various sectors, things are improving. Do I think that marriage is one man and one woman? Yes, absolutely. I'm not a supporter of LGBTQ+, but some of the more hyper-conservative approaches to men and women, which is, I think, more of a sign of the influence of dispensational theology on the development of the early Messianic movement, and some of those hyper-conservative streams which supported Israel but also brought a lot of other things with them. We need to be able to sort through that much better than we have. So those are a number of things which definitely matter to me. They don't often matter to other people I've interacted with over the years in the Messianic community. I think things will change over time. But one of the ways I'm hoping to discuss these and other matters much better is with returning to Messianic Insider theology and news roundup. So discussing a theological issue or issues, and then moving on to more contemporary news, much of which comes from the religious world, Jewish and Christian, and then just how do we navigate some of these things. I think that's the best way to address many issues, see them naturally prompted in one's interactions with social media, what people are talking about in the marketplace, and how it affects us, yes, as individuals, families, and as the Messianic community. So we still have a few days before Passover. Next week, I think, is going to be a really important week for us getting back into the swing of things. So definitely appreciate your ongoing prayers, your support of everything we do. Thank you for bearing with us over the past several weeks as we've had to do this internal audit. And we'll just keep you posted on the new things the Lord has in store.